Nice.
So the total charging time will be so much shorter than with lead acids.
Yes, you did it. Yes, it's your fault. Yes. I only need half of this. Not unimportant. We can use our coffee machine, our espresso machine, early in the morning. Another job before we can leave Italy, and that's this. Lithium batteries. So we have two of them, 2 times 280 amp hours. Parallel, that makes 560 amp hours over 12 volt. Installing the lithiums shouldn't be that complicated. It is throwing the lead acids out, put the lithiums in, change the settings on the solar regulators and the charger to lithium, and that's it. Now the most complicated thing is to fit it into something. We are in Sicily and not somewhere in Northern Europe or in the United States or whatever, so it's not easy to find a nice fitting box. So the only thing that fits a little is this. The other things I could find in the village were way too big. Oh, too small. One of the problems is at the other side of the battery there's a new communication unit from Dali, same manufacturer, and it doesn't fit here. So the whole thing needs to be a little higher. I'm gonna use these thick rubber mats anyway, but still not enough, so I need to put something underneath that. By the way, have you seen the shape of this communication unit? They made it in the shape of a Tesla or something. It looks kind of pathetic, right? But as long as they work, it's okay with me. It's dark there inside anyway. The cells look good, should be A grade. The unit looks good, but it's not really handy to install because I'll have to remove this to install the cables, which is far from handy. Because that means I have to take out this with these screws, both sides, to get to the poles, then put it in here in the battery compartment, then connect the batteries and then screw this back in, which is impossible because I cannot get to the rear side of this when it's in there. So that's a problem. Okay, it's actually quite simple. New plan. First install the cables and then put the battery into the battery room space. I'm fitting in these rubber bands now. Always good against vibrations. So double layer should be good. And so now it should fit. And another one. Nice. But I hope though that when we get in areas that have more stuff, that I can find a good fitting waterproof casing. I'm going to make a cover for this, but still. This is some Greek quality. This is the main cable to the batteries. So as you can see, I've cleaned out the battery bed, and this wood is rotten. One of the earliest owners, I think, has made this platform, laminated it, because the hull is like a V shape. I think the epoxy paint came off by scraping with the batteries or something. Because it's humid over here, sometimes it is starting to rot. I'm not gonna do anything about it now, but as soon as I found a decent battery casing, I need to get the rotten wood out, epoxy it, and then it will be okay again. So the crate clearly fits. The old setup was of course 4 batteries, and because I only have 2 batteries left now, in the new situation, the lithium situation, I only need half of this. I switched off all gear so I don't get sparks. I first need to take this thing off because I first need to put this on the battery, otherwise it's not possible anymore. Because these are not long enough for 2 of those lugs, plus this, plus that. This is for the voltage per cell, goes to the BMS. This is for that new communication Tesla kind of thing. And then 2 of those, not possible. So I'm gonna put these on both of these short ones on both of the batteries, and then I connect them together with the main cable. That's one. I'd rather have a real bolt with a normal head, but I don't have it. So I'll switch that later. I can't film it because there's not enough room to film and to do the work. This is gonna connect that and that with the next one, and then there's another ground cable somewhere over there which is gonna be connected to that one. So everything is connected. When you change to lithium batteries, you'll need to change the settings in the solar regulators, the MPPTs. You go to the Victron connection app, and when you have your Bluetooth on, you will see your MPPT controllers. Here's the 100/50, 100/30. So we'll look at this one. I already adjusted the settings, but I just want to show you what you need to do. As you can see, nothing much is happening anymore because it's already on float. So everything that's coming in is just used for the computers, whatever we're doing. Now you go to this little cogwheel, and you're in the settings. And there's some different options: battery, load output, street light, TX port function, VE smart networking. I'll only look at some of them because half of it I don't even know what they're for. So battery voltage, you can choose between 12 volt, 24 volt. Of course we have 12 volt, so that's clear. Maximum charge current, I think it will never go above 40, so 50 is okay. Charger enabled. Battery preset user defined, so you can choose some presets or whatever, but because we want to use certain settings, it's user defined for us. Absorption voltage, that means actually the maximum voltage with which you're charging, and we've put it on 13.8. Of course, a lithium battery is a maximum 14.4, I think. 4 times 3.65 is the maximum per cell. So, but lithium batteries don't like to be fully charged, so you leave some headroom. So float voltage 13.50, that's enough. That's about it. So we go back, load output, operation mode, battery life is okay. We want to use them as long as possible. Street light, the export function, I don't even know what it's for. This one is a more interesting one. This makes a group of the 2 solar regulators that we have. So the solar regulators communicate with each other via Bluetooth about the charging, voltage and amperage, whatever. You can see here that we have a smart network, as they call it. In our case it's called Anja's zonnegroepje, which means Anja's little sun group. I don't know why. Yes, you did it. Yes, it's your fault. Yes. Don't ask me though how we did it. I really don't remember anymore. But it must be simple because we did it. And that's actually it for the solar regulators. What I'm going to do now is change the settings of the Victron Multiplus charger inverter. Because you can't charge lithium batteries with the same voltage as lead acid batteries. You can charge lead acid batteries quite far beyond 14 volts, and a healthy maximum charge voltage for lithiums should be around 13.8. The thing is that lithium batteries don't like to be fully charged. It's just not good for the battery life. So you better stop at about 90-95% of the maximum voltage. So that's why I'm going to change this. And to do that, I need to remove this cover. It's a shame this model doesn't have a Bluetooth like the solar regulators, the MPPTs, but Victron sells these things. It's an interface in between the Multiplus and your computer. It's called MK3 USB VE bus to USB. These. It comes with a kind of telephone cable that you can plug in one of these two. It doesn't matter which one. So I just take one. The other end of the cable goes into this port in the interface, and then the USB plug of the interface goes into your computer. Okay, after you connected your computer with the Multiplus via the MK3 interface, you need to open the software to make changes on your Multiplus. So that is this VE Bus System Configurator software from Victron themselves. You can download it on their webpage. So we're going to open this. By the way, little disclaimer, this is not a tutorial, okay? I'm just telling you what I did with the help of my sailing compadre Vic. If you do the same and you damage your stuff, not our fault. Okay, next step. This software is still a little vague for me because there's different ways you can do something. You see here, quick start, COM3. This is communication port number 3. It looks as if there's some differences with different computers. Anyway, so that's the quick start. You also can go to configure, then COM port, and then auto detect, or just the other port that's here. That's what I'm going to do. It's searching, it's a warning, blah blah blah, don't do this, don't do that. All multis and quattros must be switched on. That seems to be important. Yes, I switched it on, it is on, no problem. So we found the Multiplus, which is here. See, this is the Multiplus. Now if you right click on this, it says here VE configure multi. If you do that, nothing happens. Target found, retrieving supported functions. So it found the Multiplus and it's getting the values from the Multiplus. Now the current values. So here you get all kinds of information. The frequency that it is putting out is 50 Hertz. We have a 230 volt system, European, and so it is 50 Hertz. In the United States it's 60 Hertz. The rest of the world, I don't know, 230 volts. This is the battery voltage at the moment. Okay, we have a few tabs over here. General, you can choose, like I said, 50 or 60 Hertz. AC input current limit 16 amps. That's the usual maximum amperage. Rest is not important. I'm just going to tell you what I understand and what we use to change the settings of the Multiplus. Okay. Grid, feeding energy from DC to grid not allowed because you don't want to feed the grid. It's I guess nice when you have a big array of solar panels on a house and you want to feed it back into the grid when you have too much. And then the next tab, which is the most important for now, charging. Because we have lithium batteries now instead of lead acids, we need to change the voltages. Because like I said earlier, with lead acids you use higher voltages to charge than with lithiums. So let's see.
Here, battery type. Because we installed lithium iron phosphate batteries, it would seem logical to select this. But when you select this, you get an absorption voltage of 14.4, I think, and that's too high. Because, like I said earlier, lithium batteries don't like it to be full. So we want to avoid that. I already changed this weeks ago, so I'm just showing you what I did. Charge curve fixed. I don't even remember why this is on fixed. Adaptive, I don't remember. Anyway, you can see here that I changed the absorption voltage to 13.8 and the float voltage after the absorption phase 13.5. That's high enough to fill it for, I think, 90 to 95%, which is nice because you have so much amp hours in lithium batteries that you don't need to fully charge them. Oh, by the way, that's a beautiful thing with lithium batteries. Your absorption time is so short. When I look on the Victron app on my telephone, every day it says maximum 10 minutes absorption time, while our lead acids could sometimes be in absorption for 5 long hours, in which they charge the last, say, 20% of the batteries. And lead acids you need to charge fully most of the time, because lead acids don't like to not be fully charged. And if you don't fully charge them very regularly, the lifespan will go down, and you don't want that. So not with lithiums, and that's a great thing. So the total charging time will be so much shorter than with lead acids, and that is really great. And another thing you need to know, and that's the last thing I need to tell you about this, and then I can directly show you what happens when I change this to lithium batteries and then select OK. It gives you a warning. Absorption voltage goes to 14.2. You see that here, right? And because we don't want that, I'm going to change this to 13.8 again. See? Because nothing changes in the Multiplus before you push this send settings. So you can change anything in this program without changing anything in the Multiplus. It only changes when you push this button, send settings. I don't need to because our Multiplus already has the right settings, so we leave it at that. So actually that's all. It's simple. The other tabs I don't even know what they're for, so we just leave it at that. So now the Multiplus is good, your right voltages, and everybody happy. I think I told you everything that's important, and I hope it is as clear as a glass of water. If not, just tell me in the comments.
So the thing with the lithiums is this. We bought 2 of those lithiums. This is the complete unit, plug and play. But the thing was, for some reason, one of the cells of one of the batteries was not good. We don't know why, the supplier don't know why. So you would think a bad experience, but remember this name? Is a guy, a company in the Netherlands, and I have a very good experience with him. When I called him to tell him that one of the cells was faulty, he directly said, if you need a new cell, I will directly send one, no costs. And after that, one of the other sailors, Vic, knows quite a lot about lithiums. He helped me to test the thing, and another sailor had a drip charger. Everybody helps each other here. It's a great community. So we really tested it, load testing, charge testing, everything. And the cell was really not good. Went way too high, like 4.2 volts with charging, and under 3 volts with discharging, while the other cells were exactly the same. The supplier told me he could send one cell, but he could also send me a new pack, which were picked together, so to say, cells that are really close to each other, which was way better, of course. So the guy sent me the whole new pack, and I have to send the old pack back now. So if you need lithium, ferro, phosphor batteries, try this guy. For contact, look in the description. So these are the new cells, and I'm balancing just to be sure before I'm gonna use them in the boat. Now I put them on 3.61 volts, and I'm raising the voltage slowly when the amperage is let's say below 0.1 volt up till 3.65, which is the maximum voltage per cell. As you can see, the cells itself are at 3.366 volts. That's going up very slowly. You need to do it slow for the top balancing. We drip charge it for, let's see, 1.5 days. Don't let this fool you. The real voltage is 3.65 approximately. As you can see, there's no amperage anymore, so that means it's stopped charging. It's full. The batteries are full. Almost. I could get them a little fuller, but I don't think that's necessary. And now this is done, I need to connect the BMS and some other cables. Now this is the cable from the BMS. As you can see, I've numbered all the cables, so I will be sure the right cable goes back on the right pole. But actually it's quite simple. If you forget to do that, it's like this. The black cable on the plug in the BMS goes to the minus of the first cell. After that, the first red cable goes to the plus of that first cell, and then the other ones are the pluses of the next cells. Actually quite simple. This is the plus from the last cell, so we need to connect the big plus cable to it, and also the feed cable of this communication device, and of course the sensor. Nothing going on there, just connect it. The ground cable from the BMS goes to the minus of the first cell. And this little cable that comes out of here is a heat sensor. You just stick it underneath here and it will measure the temperature of the cells. And then this cable is from the Bluetooth dongle. So you can connect the BMS with an app in your telephone. And then this connection is coming from the BMS, goes in here to connect it with this communication device. The battery is practically full. My multimeter says 14.18 volts. And now let's see what my app says. Is this app Smart BMS? So it will open directly and it sees the BMS connecting, and this is what it says: 100% full, 14.4 volt. So that's the sum of the cells, and I think you lose something in the BMS, and also that's why my multimeter says 14 point something. Here you can see that the cell with the highest voltage is 3.624 volts. With the cell with the lowest voltage, 3.622 volts. And here you can see the voltages of the separate cells. The difference between the voltages of the cells is 0.002 volts. So that is 2/1000ths of a volt. 0.001 volt. So that is perfect. So that was it. At the moment that I'm editing this video, we already used the batteries for how long? Okay, after arguments and fights and all, we agreed upon 2 months, 2.5 months. Anja says 2.5 months, I think 2 months. We are using these batteries at least for 2 months. And we are very happy with it. So all the positive points: lithium batteries are lighter, you need less of them, because with lead acid you only can use 50% of their amp hours, and lithium batteries about 90%. With less acid you have that long absorption time. Lithiums actually don't have absorption time. Lead acids, you need to fully charge them most of the time, while lithiums, they don't even like to be fully charged. So if you have a rainy day or whatever and you don't get your batteries fully charged, even when you don't get them fully charged for a few days or a few weeks, it doesn't matter. And then they're lighter, you need less space. And also the voltage curve. With lead acid battery, the voltage drops down quite fast, while with lithiums the voltage curve is quite flat. And not unimportant, we can use our coffee machine, our espresso machine, early in the morning without having to wait till the sun comes up, shines on our solar panels and give us enough amp hours to do so, which is an important point. So that's it. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe you could use some of the information in it. See you next time. Bye.